Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with football selections for Tuesday evening on the 24th of January, but also horse racing selections nice and early for the 25th of January as well. But first, the football selections for tonight. So here we go. Obviously, it's been a disappointing start to the horses today. We've got two big prices left for Tuesday evening. With how things have been going, I'm not too confident, but I do still like the look of them. But I think with that old news, the horse that's just ran, slow break, went the far side, got into a little bit of trouble, wasn't really going to get placed, but everything seems a little bit disappointing at the moment, and I'm sure you can understand because obviously I'm staking the money as well as yourself. So it is very frustrating at the moment, and we've even got low battery. No, right, we're in now. So let's get into it. So it's a £10 bet on the football. So it's a £6 treble, over 2.5 goals treble. So the matches are Bolton versus Forest Green, Ipswich versus Morecambe, and Southampton versus Newcastle. So that's a £6 over 2.5 goals treble. The next bet is a £2.75 over 3.5 goal treble. The same teams you can see on the screen. And finally, to make it to a tenner, a £1.25 treble over 4.5 goals. The same teams again. Bolton versus Forest Green, Ipswich versus Morecambe, and Southampton versus Newcastle. So let's get into the horses. I haven't put the bet on yet, so I'm going to try and talk you through it, but I will type it out in the comments. So here we go. Right. So the first race is Puppet Warrior. It's currently at 40 to 1, but I've left it at SP. That's in the 145 at Catterick. So what I've done is I've had, I believe it to be a lucky 15, and I haven't had it yet. It'll be a lucky 15 and an each way lucky 15 and each way accumulator. Then the horses that I really fancy, I will then be placing in. It'll be a Trixie, an each way Trixie, and then an each way treble again. So the first selection is Puppet Warrior. It's currently at 40 to 1. Take the price if you want to. I think it could get bigger. And the 145 at Catterick. This horse is miles out the handicap, but it's a dreadful race. It's run over the course before. Tabitha Worsley has ridden it in every single run. She rides it again. And I think when, let's call it push comes to shove, she could start picking some of the horses off. Don't get me wrong, it'll probably last all the way round, and then hopefully it's got something left to start picking off its rivals if they've possibly gone off too quick. And it is a veteran staying chase, so anything can happen really. But I do think it's got a bit of a sneak. Don't get me wrong, it needs other horses to underperform to get involved. But at 40 to 1, I think it's too big a price to ignore. The second selection is Relkadam at 10 to 1 in the 245 at Catterick, paying 4 places instead of 3. I think the current 10 to 1 is a joke. That is a huge price in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, no matter what, it'll probably end up being 20s. But it won the race last year off an £8 handicap mark, £8 higher handicap mark. So therefore, it's £8 lower in the handicap tomorrow on Wednesday in this race. Also, William Easterby, I believe it's the son of Tim Easterby, takes a mount. He takes another, I think it's 3 or 5. I think it's £5 off it. That jockey has recently ridden a winner at Catterick. It's a decent enough jockey, and I think this horse has got a ridiculous chance. So yeah, that's Relkadam. The third selection is Imperial Command at 15 to 2 in the 3 o'clock at Newcastle. The fourth selection is Desert Cop. It's currently at 20s, but I've clicked SP in the 5:30 at Kempton. It was positioned out wide on its first ever run at Southwell. Well, it's on the inside at Kempton this time, which therefore, and it's bred to be basically pure speed. However, so that's why I'm a little bit concerned about the 7 furlongs. However, the breeding, well, I'll say the breeding, the brothers and sisters basically of this horse. They have stayed 7 furlongs, but generally it's around about 6 to 7 furlongs. However, Desert Cop is not too far behind. Don't get me wrong, the favourite is well ahead, but the rest of the horses, it's not too far behind. And I think the combination of instead of being drawn out wide this time, it's drawn on the inside. And also, I looked at 2 full sisters to this horse. Both of them improved massively for their debuts. So it's one to keep an eye on for definite. The 5th horse is Collooney at 14 to 1 in the 3:15 at Catterick, paying 4 places instead of 3. Aidan Coleman rides this, and I think this has been overlooked big time. It should nowhere near be 14 to 1, and I think it could sneak a place at minimum. It likes soft ground, and I think it could be ridden very quietly. And there's very few better than Aidan Coleman at riding horses very quietly to sneak a place or to sneak it into the race. And finally, another horse that I really fancy. It's got a really good chance of. I think personally, I think Serena Brotherton's had it. I don't rate her at all. I know she was the top jockey at one point, but for me, it looks like she's clinging on half the time. Well, it's got Cheap Piece as the favourite as for the first time. Well, why would you put Cheap Piece on a horse that won last time? Well, why don't you put Cheap Piece on when it stops winning? I don't understand that. So I think the Cheap Pieces could be an excuse for the odds-on favourite to get beat. Is it Calcutta or something? So this Engrave, right? Don't get me wrong, it's never ran at Newcastle before. However, it's been running really well recently. Julia Fielden, I looked at the stats for this trainer. Don't get me wrong, they're not prolific, but anyway. But I think the most prolific course that she trains a winner at is a strike rate of 25%. Well, the 3rd best strike rate is actually at Newcastle, where she's got a 15% strike rate. However, horses coming in the first 4, I believe, she's got a 50% strike rate. Don't get me wrong, the payout on the first 3. She's got an amateur jockey called Ross Burkett. It's probably the best jockey in the race. I think if this horse handles the course, it wins. That's my honest opinion. So, and as long as the favourite slightly underperforms, like I've just described, I think it could do. I think Engrave is the next best. So So what I will be having, I'm going to talk you very briefly through it. Right. So what I'll be having is Puppet Warrior, Relkadam, Desert Cop, and Collooney in a 10p each way Lucky 15 and a 50p each way accumulator. And then I should be having Relkadam, Imperial Command, and Engrave in a 50p each way Trixie and a 50p each way treble. That comes to, I'm just working out now because I've not put the bet on yet, but it comes to £9. So those are the bets for Wednesday. So the very best of luck. Please give it a like or subscribe. That'd be fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I know we're on a shocking run at the moment. It's not just a bad run; it's a shocking run. So the very best of luck. Charlie Winters over and out. Cheers, mate.